Right now, Typhoon Uwan is approaching northern Luzon with sustained winds of 130 kilometers per hour and gusts reaching 160 kilometers per hour. PAGASA has issued signal number 3 warnings across Cagayan, Isabela, and Aurora provinces. And this is coming just days after Typhoon Kalmaegi killed over 90 people across the Philippines. This isn't just another storm. This is the latest in a relentless pattern of disasters that's giving communities no time to recover. Typhoon Uwan, internationally known as Toraji, is currently tracking westward across the Philippine Sea. Landfall is expected within the next 12 to 24 hours along the northeastern coast of Luzon. PAGASA forecasts rainfall totals of 100 to 200 millimeters across the affected regions, with localized amounts potentially exceeding 300 millimeters in mountainous areas. Storm surge heights of 2 to 3 meters are possible along the coasts of Cagayan and Isabela. That's enough to inundate low-lying coastal communities. Combined with heavy rainfall, the flooding risk is extreme, but here's what makes Uwan particularly dangerous: timing and location. Northern Luzon has already been hit multiple times this season. Typhoon Kristine in late October brought flooding to parts of northern Luzon. Typhoon Uwan followed days later. Now Uwan is the third major storm to threaten this region in just 3 weeks. The soil is already saturated. Rivers are already swollen. Infrastructure is already stressed. When Uwan's rainfall arrives, the water will have nowhere to go. And communities are exhausted. Families have been preparing for typhoons, evacuating, returning home, and preparing again. Emergency responders are stretched thin. Relief supplies are running low. This is resilience fatigue in action. Let's talk about the specific threats Uwan poses right now. First, the wind. Signal number 3 means winds of 89 to 117 kilometers per hour are expected within 36 hours. That's strong enough to damage homes, tear off roofs, uproot trees, and knock down power lines. Expect widespread power outages across the affected provinces. Second, the rainfall. 100 to 200 millimeters sounds technical, but here's what it means: flash flooding in urban areas, riverine flooding in low-lying regions, and landslides in mountainous terrain. Roads will become impassable. Communities will be cut off. Third, storm surge. Coastal areas of Cagayan and Isabela face 2 to 3 meter storm surges. That's water being pushed inland by the storm's winds. It arrives quickly without warning and can sweep away everything in its path. If you're in a coastal barangay in Cagayan or Isabela, you need to evacuate to higher ground now. Don't wait for mandatory evacuation orders. Don't wait to see how bad it gets. Move inland and to higher elevations before Uwan makes landfall. Fourth, the cascading effects. This is where things get complicated and dangerous. Uwan isn't hitting pristine, fully recovered communities. It's hitting areas that are still dealing with previous storms. Some farmers haven't replanted crops destroyed by Kristine. Some families are still repairing roofs damaged by Leon. Some evacuation centers are still housing people displaced by earlier floods. And while northern Luzon prepares for Uwan, eastern Visayas is still recovering from Kalmaegi. Large parts of the Dinagat Islands remain without power. Cebu is still assessing damage and counting casualties. Emergency response teams that should be helping with Kalmaegi recovery are being redirected to prepare for Uwan. This is the cascading disaster reality we've been documenting. The Philippines doesn't get recovery time between events. Each disaster compounds the next, and the system is being overwhelmed. So what should you do if you're in Uwan's path? If you're in Cagayan, Isabela, Aurora, or nearby provinces under signal number 3, take these steps immediately. 1. Secure your home. Bring loose items indoors. Board up windows if possible. Move valuables and important documents to higher floors or waterproof containers. 2. Prepare your emergency kit. You need water for at least 3 days. Non-perishable food. Flashlights and batteries. First aid supplies. Medications. Battery-powered or hand-crank radio. Charge all electronic devices now while you still have power. 3. Know your evacuation route. Identify the nearest evacuation center. Know how to get there. Have a plan for your family. Agree on where you'll meet if you get separated. Don't assume you'll have cell phone service during the storm. 4. If you're in a coastal area, low-lying region or near rivers, evacuate now. Don't wait. Storm surge and flash flooding can happen rapidly. Once the storm arrives, it will be too late to move safely. 5. Monitor PAGASA bulletins. Check pagasa.dos.gov.ph for official updates. Don't rely on social media rumors or unofficial sources. PAGASA provides accurate, timely information. Check their bulletins every few hours. 6. Help your neighbors. Practice bayanihan. Check on elderly neighbors. Help families with young children prepare. Share resources if you can. Filipino communities survive disasters through collective action. And if you're not in Uwan's direct path, understand that this could be you next week. The typhoon season isn't over. November and December can still bring storms. Use Uwan as a reminder to prepare your own emergency supplies and evacuation plans. Now let's put Uwan in context, because this storm is part of a larger, alarming pattern. October 25th, severe tropical storm. Kristine brings catastrophic flooding to Bicol and parts of Luzon. Over 100 people die. Entire towns are submerged. Early November. Typhoon Uwan passes north of Luzon, bringing heavy rainfall and preventing recovery from Kristine. November 4th. Typhoon Kalmaegi makes landfall in southern Leyte. Eastern Visayas devastated. Death toll exceeds 90, with 49 deaths in Cebu alone. November 6th. Typhoon Uwan approaches northern Luzon. 4 major tropical cyclones in 2.5 weeks, and the Philippines is still in peak typhoon season. This isn't normal variation. This isn't just bad luck. This is what climate change looks like on the ground. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more energy for storms. The Pacific waters east of the Philippines are consistently above the temperatures needed for typhoon formation and intensification. This creates conditions for storms to develop rapidly and maintain strength longer. Scientists have documented that tropical cyclones are intensifying faster than they did decades ago. A storm can go from moderate to severe in hours, giving communities less time to prepare. And the rapid succession we're seeing, multiple storms within days or weeks, is becoming more common. Climate patterns are shifting in ways that cluster storm formation. The breaks between typhoons are getting shorter. For the Philippines, this means 20 typhoons per year has always been the norm, but the intensity, the rapid succession, and the inability to recover between events is the new reality. And it's exhausting communities, emergency response systems, and infrastructure. The Philippines contributes less than half of 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But Filipino families are evacuating 3, 4, 5 times in a single season. Filipino children are missing months of school. Filipino communities are spending more time in evacuation centers than in their own homes. This is climate injustice. The countries that contributed least to the problem are suffering the worst consequences, and it's going to get worse. Current climate projections suggest the Western Pacific will continue warming, typhoon intensity will continue increasing, extreme rainfall events will become more common. The Philippines will face even more frequent and severe disasters in the coming decades. But in the immediate term, right now, Typhoon Uwan is 12 to 24 hours from landfall. If you're in northern Luzon, you need to act now. Secure your home, prepare your emergency kit, know your evacuation route. Monitor PAGASA. Help your neighbors. If you're in the Filipino diaspora, check on your family in affected areas. Make sure they're preparing. Offer to help financially if they need supplies or evacuation assistance. Stay in communication while networks are still functioning. And for everyone watching, understand that this is the new normal for the Philippines. Disaster preparedness isn't optional. Emergency kits aren't paranoid. Evacuation drills aren't overreaction. This is survival in the world's most typhoon-prone country. Stay safe, northern Luzon. Monitor PAGASA. Evacuate if you're in vulnerable areas. Practice bayanihan. Help each other survive this storm. The Philippines keeps getting hit. Communities keep recovering. But resilience has limits, and we're approaching those limits. Typhoon Uwan is hours away. Prepare now. I'm beneath the depths. Subscribe for continued coverage of disasters in the Philippines and the forces driving them. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember that every disaster is both a consequence of past actions and a warning about the future.